Hey guys, it's me, Miss Mills, and welcome to Mrs. Mills' Math Time. The whole point of this video is to help you solve multi-step equations. Some are going to be just combining like terms and then solving the two-step equation, and then others you have to use the distributive property in order to simplify, and then you can solve the two-step equation. So we only have 10 problems in the solving multi-step equations worksheet, so I'm only going to do 2 examples. I'm going to do one example without the distributive property, and I'm going to use one example using the distributive property. So please pay very close attention and let me know if you have any questions at the end. So the very first question we're going to do is going to be number 2. And what number 2 gives us is we have 7. We're going to subtract that by 4k. We're going to add that by 8k, and then that's going to be equal to 11. So before we can solve this equation, we do have to simplify it. So in order to simplify it, we have to locate our like terms, and then we can combine those like terms. So to locate my like terms, well, 7 doesn't have any like terms on this side of the equal sign, so I'm going to leave it alone. But negative 4k and 8k, they're like terms because they have the same variable behind them. So I'm going to box them. And whenever you box them, you need to make sure you take the operation in front of the number as well. That is a crucial part to getting this answer correct. And then same thing. 8k is also a like term. I can't really see that. There we go. All right, so before I can solve this as a two-step, I do have to combine like terms. Negative 4k plus 8k is going to leave me with 4k, a positive 4k. And I'll bring the 7 down, so it's 7 plus 4k, because again, this was a positive 4. And I'm going to bring down this equal to 11. Once I've done that, now I can solve my two-step equation. So first step is to put that balance beam through the equal sign. Remember, whatever you do on one side of the balance beam, you have to do on the other side as well. And first step to solving a two-step is, well, first you need to get rid of the constant by using addition or subtraction. First step is I need to get rid of the constant using addition or subtraction. So the constant, again, is going to be the number that's not directly next to the letter. It's going to be the number that you can get rid of using addition or subtraction. In this case, it's going to be 7. So this is a positive 7 because we're taking the operation in front of it. This is a positive 7. So to get rid of it, we have to do the opposite of a positive 7. Well, the opposite of a positive 7 is a negative 7. And if we do that on one side, we have to do that on the other side as well. So positive 7 minus 7, well, again, those cancel out. They're opposites. I'm going to bring down this 4k, and then I'm going to simplify 11 minus 7. Well, 11 minus 7 will give us 4. And now I have just one step left. The second step to solving a two-step equation is I have to use multiplication or division in order to get the variable by itself. The whole point is to isolate the variable. And my variable is k, so I need to get rid of that 4 that's attached to it. Well, in this case, 4 is getting multiplied by k, so the opposite of multiplying k by 4 is to divide it by 4. And again, if I do that on one side of the balance beam, I have to do the same thing on the other side as well. Again, these cancel out, leaving me with k is equal to, well, 4 divided by 4, anytime you have the same number as in the numerator as the denominator, that's going to be equal to 1 whole of a fraction. So k is equal to a positive 1. And if you wanted to check your work, you can always do that as well. You can check your work by plugging in your variable into the original equation and making sure that it is equal to 11. So let's go ahead and do that. We had 7 minus 4, I'll put a 1 there, plus 8, and I'll put a 1 there, because k is equal to 1, so I'm substituting it in. And we got to make sure that this is equal to 11. Well, we can multiply these first. 4 times 1 is 4. 8 times 1 is 8. That's going to be equal to 11. 7 minus 4, well, that's going to be 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, plus 8. 3 plus 8 is going to give us 11. So this works out. K is going to be equal to 11. Sorry, k is going to be equal to 1, because if we plug it in, it is equal to 11. All right, so now I'm going to do an example for the distributive property. where you have to simplify by using the distributive property, and then you can go ahead and solve the two-step equations. So the one I'm choosing for this one is number 8, and it's going to be negative 8 multiplied by 1 minus 5k, and then that is going to be equal to 312. Awesome. Okay. All right, so same thing here. When you're using the distributive property, you have to take that outside number and you can multiply it by everything inside of the parentheses. So we're taking this outside number and we're going to multiply it by everything on the inside. So what we have here is a negative 8 times a positive 1. Well, remember, a negative times a positive is always going to give you a negative answer. Or a positive times negative is always going to give you a negative answer as well. But be very careful. Whenever you're doing this, remember, a negative times a negative will always give you a positive answer, okay? And then, of course, a positive times positive is going to give you a positive answer. So make sure you know these rules whenever you're using the distributive property because they are crucial to getting the correct answer. So negative 8 times a positive 1 is going to be negative 8. Now, a negative 8 times a negative 5, we're taking that operation in front of it. So it's a negative 8 times a negative 5 is going to give us a positive 40k, because we got to bring that variable down. And then we can bring down the equal to 312. And once we've done this, we can go ahead and solve our two-step equation. Again, I need to get rid of the constant first. The constant is the number that's not directly next to the letter. It's also the number I can get rid of using addition or subtraction. So I need to get rid of this negative 8. This is the constant. So I have to use the opposite of negative 8. Well, the opposite of a negative 8 is a positive 8. And if I do that on one side of the equal sign, I have to do the same thing on the other side as well. So these canceled out, they're opposites. I'm going to bring down this positive 40k. And then 312 plus 8 is going to give me 320. And now I can solve the one-step equation. I want to get k by itself. So again, this is 40 is multiplied by k. When you have a number next to a variable, that means multiplication. So the opposite of multiplying k by 40 is to divide it by 40. If I do that on one side of the balance beam, I have to do the same thing on the other side as well. These cancel out because they're opposites, so I'm going to bring this k down. And then 320 divided by 40 is going to leave me with 8. So 8, or k, is equal to 8. And if I ever wanted to check that, well, I can plug it back into the original equation. So we had negative 8, and then we had 1 minus 5, 8. And then that's equal to 312. So before I can distribute, I need to solve the parentheses inside of it. So 5 times 8 is going to give us, or negative 5 times 8 is going to give us negative 40, and that's going to be equal to 312. So then I can use the distributive property. Negative 8 times 1 is going to give me negative 8. Negative 8 times 40. Negative 8 times 40. A negative 40 is going to give us a positive 320. Yep. And then I can solve this. Negative 8 plus 320 is going to leave me with 312. So we did get the correct answer. So that means 8 is equal to k, and we are good to go. So guys, those are the only examples I'm going to do on this worksheet. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.